Good morning. Today, we're going to talk about transferring property when someone has died, but they need to transfer the property outside of probate. So, today, we're going to talk about affidavits of heirship and how you can utilize it as a tool to help you transfer property after someone in your property and your family has passed away, but you need that property to be deeded to someone else. This tool is going to help you do that. So, good morning. I'm attorney Alexis Hart McDowell. I'm a real estate and business attorney located here in Chicago, and I help people create their legacies and build wealth through real estate and entrepreneurship. And one thing that has come up a lot, especially during COVID and after COVID, is transferring property when someone has passed away and how to do that outside of the probate process. As you all know, probate can be extremely expensive, quite lengthy. In time, and a lot of people just don't have the resources to go through that process. So, last week I shared one way in which to avoid probate, and that was called a deed transfer. This week, we're going to talk about affidavits of heirships and transfer on death instruments. Those will comprise the three different ways that you can transfer property outside of probate. Okay. So, jumping right in, for an affidavit of heirship, people always want to know, well, what is it? So, an affidavit of heirship is just a written statement that establishes the right of inheritance. An affidavit of heirship basically says, I am a lineal heir, or who are the particular heirs in that document. That's all it is. It says who was married, what property they owned, what children they had, if they had adoption, if there was divorce, anything like that. That's what the affidavit of heirship states. Okay. And it says who's an heir to the estate. And it also says whether there is any property within the estate, right? Whether there's any outstanding debts of the estate or anything like that. So an affidavit of heirship is just what it sounds, just a written statement by someone who is aware of all of the facts. Particularly, we hope that it's not an heir to the property because they would be dealing in their own self-interest. So we want someone who is not going to be an heir to the property to fill out the affidavit of heirship, and it's attached to the deed. That's right. So if I was an only child and parents had passed away, and my name was not on the deed to their property under Illinois intestate law, I would be entitled to that property. So how do I get the deed in my name without going through probate? Well, we do what's called a deed transfer, and we attach an affidavit of heirship to that, and then we record that in the Cook County recorder's office or whatever county the property is located in. And then I am now the owner, the rightful owner of that property. And all I needed was the deed transfer and the affidavit of heirship. So an affidavit of heirship, as you can see, comes in handy, especially after someone has passed away. That's typically the times that we use that. It allows that person, whoever the heirs are, whoever's entitled to that property, to put the deed in their name, to put the deed to their property into their particular name, which they can now get a loan against the property. They can now sell the property. They can now rent the property because they are the rightful owners of that property. So it is a great tool. I use it all the time for clients who are in that particular situation. Typically, a grandmother or a grandfather has passed away, has gone to their children. One of the children wants it, or they want to pass it to one of the grandchildren, and we just figure out the lineal descendants of all of that. We put it in an affidavit of heirship. We have one person sign off, and we're able to do a new deed and record it. So it truly, truly expedites the process, as I stated, and it is ridiculously low priced to handle compared to probate. All right. So that's an affidavit of heirship. Pretty quick, pretty simple, pretty easy. If you have any questions on that, feel free to schedule a consultation with me at enterpriseesquire.com/calendar. Consultations are only $35, but you will get a wealth of information that you need for your particular situation and how to move forward. All right. All right. Next, we're going to talk about transfer on death instruments, also called TODIs. Right. And transfer on death instruments are another way to transfer property outside probate that a lot of people don't know about. So a transfer on death instrument is executed by the person or the owner of the property while they are alive. That is the key with the transfer on death instrument. You have to be alive and you have to say, hey, I don't want this property to go to my kids or leave it in a will or have them go through probate or whatever. I want to leave it to a specific person. You put that person's name in there, you fill out the form, you fill out the information, and you record it in the county that the property is located in, and voila, you're done. The person will own the property upon your death, which is why it is called transfer upon death instrument. Okay. So we have an affidavit of airship, which is done after someone has passed away and you need to get a new person's name on the deed. And we have a TODI, a transfer on death instrument, where the person is alive. They can complete this form, have it recorded, and upon their death, the property will be automatically transferred to that person that they name. Now, an additional step that a person has to take when there's a TODI involved is that they have to complete and file an affidavit of acceptance, right? So I could leave the property to you and you're like, I don't want that property. I don't have nothing to do that. I don't even live in this state or anything, right? Or you could say, I do want to accept that property. I want to own that property. And if you want to accept it, you need to fill out an affidavit of acceptance, and then you record that. And then now the property belongs to you and you will be the rightful owner. And you can decide to do a new deed if that's what you want to do, but it's not necessary, okay? Because the TODI is registered and your affidavit of acceptance is registered as well, okay? So sometimes people want to leave property to people and it may be a surprise. If you don't accept that, if you don't want to accept the property, you don't have to. It's not an obligation because some property may be encumbered. And by encumbered, I mean it may have a mortgage. And maybe you're like, I don't want $1 million mortgage. Right? I don't want to accept that property. I'm not in a position to accept that property. I can't do anything with that property. You do not have to accept it through a TODI. Okay. But if you do, like I said, if you do want to accept the responsibility and ownership of that property upon the previous owner's death, you just have to fill out an affidavit of acceptance. It's very simple. You can reach out to our office for either one of those documents as well. We do complete TODIs, transfer on death instruments, and we do complete affidavit of airships as well as deed transfers for our clients in need. And the first step is to schedule a consultation at enterpriseesquire.com/calendar. So that we can get the details of your particular situation, because one or more of these, or perhaps none of these, may work depending upon the facts specific to your situation. All right. So you have to schedule a consultation first. That way we know that you are operating in that we're pursuing the right course of action for you all, okay, in your situation. All right, I look forward to speaking with you. Remember, schedule that consultation. If you know someone who's in a situation and they think they have to go to probate is not always the answer. Sometimes it is required, but it's not always the answer. So at least we can discuss their options. So reach out to me, attorney Alexis Hart McDowell at enterpriseesquire.com/calendar. Thank you all. I hope you have a fantastic afternoon. And just remember the benefits of affidavit of airship and transfer on death instruments and how it can help you preserve wealth and transfer on property ownership and legacy within your family. All right. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.